sure we're good there. Drop that down. Bring this over. Yeah, we talking today. We are talking today. We're gonna see. Let me see. What up, Vanessa? Good morning. Just getting stuff set up before I go live. Pin that message. All right, there we go. All right, we're going live now on YouTube. On Instagram. We're live on YouTube. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and so many others. Let me get what's name set up. What up, Charlie? Yeah, we just getting started. YouTube. Let me see. ICG. There we go. Post that. Pin that. All right, Instagram is set up. Waiting on all my TikTok people to join the live. And then we'll be all set to go. I know y'all are super stoked and excited. What up, Southern Hummingbird? Good morning. What up, sunny Florida girl? Good morning. It is Friday the 7th. It's 52 degrees here in sunny Atlanta with a high of 81 degrees. What up, Juice WRLD? Yeah, let me put a little something on. So we talking today. But I'm not diving right in, y'all. Still got my apple cider vinegar drink. You know, we got to take care of business. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we're all straight this morning. Make sure you guys, if you're on my on YouTube, that you guys hit the like button, as well as if you're not subscribed or whatnot. I'm actually going to steer everyone over to the YouTube channel. What up, Trace? Join me on youtube.com. You see it right there, /ICGreen1. The conversation for that everybody wants to have today, it's going to have to happen on YouTube. And, you know, I don't want to put myself in a position on these other platforms like Instagram and TikTok that will, you know, compromise the conversation. What up, Quinita? What up, Mildred? Yeah. So if you're on my Instagram, I pinned my YouTube to the bottom. And if you're on TikTok, you guys see the YouTube right there, .com, ICGreen1. Make sure you guys join that. What up, Pete? What up, Masudra? What up, Beckham? What up, Betha? Yeah. Byron, what up? Muslim, what up? So I'm directing everyone over to YouTube right now as not to compromise my position on TikTok or Instagram with the conversation that you know, that everybody is excited about having. You know, yo, that's what's up, Pete. I know, you know, we ended yesterday. Yesterday was a different conversation for us. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it was pretty cool to know that we could have those kind of conversations in this live. I'm doing well, thank you. But we're digging in today. Actually, we went from 0 to 60. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday was a conversation, but today is a conversation. Oh my gosh! I know you guys are anticipating it a lot. When you join my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. What up, Zena? Thank you, man. And Ayoke say I'm such an amazing guy. Thank you so much. He's on Instagram. Join me over on YouTube. Anybody that's on my Instagram, go to YouTube today. If you're on my TikTok, go to YouTube today. This conversation is a game changer to some degree. Priscilla, come to YouTube. I'm gonna be on YouTube today. I'm gonna hang out on TikTok and IG for a minute while we get our drinks together, whatever. Good morning. What up from New York? I see you. What up, Enough? Yeah. So what I think I may do as well. Let me do that. Let me see something here. Let me see if I can do this right quick. Let me see. Nope, let me see. It's not right there. I'm looking for something. It told me I could do something that I want to do. Uh-oh. What up, Chuck? Yeah, we're live right now. Let me see. There is this it? How many names? There we go. All right. So, wish I had my drink, but Sunday for sure when I get back. That's what's up. Listen, for anybody that's on my live right now, you will notice that we're transitioning this conversation today. The most serious conversation we're gonna have to do it on YouTube. YouTube has more flexibility than TikTok and Instagram, and I don't want to get caught up in the madness. But what I have done is right now I put TikTok on subscriber only comments. So if you have not subscribed to me on TikTok, you will not be able to leave a comment, but you can go over to YouTube and leave a comment. So I'll leave missed 2 days so far. Back at it tomorrow for real. All right, that's what's up, Chuck. I'm gonna leave my YouTube, the YouTube channels where I want y'all to go over to right now. But because of the sensitivity of the conversation that y'all want to have today, and even yesterday's conversation really should have been held off of TikTok. But I think the way that we were able to dance around some things, that I'm in good shape. I don't want to be red flagged for having a conversation that's changing people's situation, that is opening people's minds to something deeper. If you're not subscribed to me on TikTok, you will not be able to comment on that platform, but you can come over to YouTube and spread the word. When you join my YouTube channel, make sure that you hit the like button and you are subscribed to YouTube. Those are simple and they're free, so you might as well, right? If you're on my Instagram channel, you should go over to YouTube right now so you can join this conversation. And I got a few people in there now. I see Zena, Charlie, and Vanessa. Who else is in the live over on YouTube? Make sure you type your name. Make sure you subscribe and you type your name. Oh, it's your birthday weekend. That's what's up. Hold on. Let me see. I wish you had told me. I wish I had known already, but I hadn't warmed up right. Let me get it. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Zena. Happy birthday to you. Yeah, it's Zena's birthday. It's her birthday, celebrating. Hey, it's your birthday. Hey, it's your birthday. We celebrating. So like I told y'all, right? I told y'all membership had its privileges. And so those that are subscribed are able to comment today on TikTok. You have to be subscribed to me in order to comment on TikTok. You can like, you can share, but you cannot comment. If you're on my YouTube channel, the comments are available. Make sure when you join YouTube, you type your name so I know that you're there. And that you also, if I had warmed up, Zena, I would really showed out, but my voice ain't warmed up yet. On YouTube, make sure you hit the like button when you join the room, and make sure you subscribe as well. Today, we're having a really, really serious conversation about, you know what? I'm trying to think who posed the question yesterday. Can anybody remember who posed the question? That got us on this hot topic. We got like two hot topics, one today and the other one tomorrow. Wait, tomorrow Saturday? It sure is. That other one might have to wait. I don't know. Might have to wait till Monday. But we got some hot topics today, y'all. Some hot topics. Like for real. And people just want to know, you know what I'm saying? People just want to understand the mindset of, how we look at things and how we think about things. So I see Rita in the building. What's up, Rita? Rita Rodriguez. Yo, if you are on my TikTok live and find that you cannot comment, you should be subscribed in order to comment today. If you're not subscribed and you want to comment, I would tell you join me on YouTube. Don't remember who, but it might be a game changer for me today. I understand, Sonny. I know. Is your son around, Sonny? Because I know he's a part of the community. It'd be great to have his input and dialogue. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, those that are in the community, I don't know if they understand the position that we're all in. You know what I'm saying? We're all in this together, and there's care and concern involved in the whole, in this conversation. So, yeah. Sonny said, "Look, Scrap. If you say to Scrap, you come off wrong. I am not. I am out." Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. All right, so hold on one second, y'all. Sonny just told me her son is at the doctor. She has 102 fever. Let's just, dear Lord and Heavenly Father, we thank you right now. We know that you are the healer of all healers. Right now, her son, Sonny's son, is at the hospital right now. We know that that you have all healing power. We pray right now that you camp your angels out around him and pull him through this 102 degrees fever, make him feel better, Lord Jesus, and put him in a better position than he was before he even went in. We pray that you'll do the things necessary, Lord Jesus, to position yourself in his heart and in his mind and in his spirit so that he can know that you have his back and that he can be comforted through whatever situation he's going through. We ask these things right now in Jesus' name we pray, amen. We're about to get started. I want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to converse about it. But I wanted to start it off the right way. If you're not on my YouTube channel right now, you might want to do so. You see the YouTube link right here at the bottom. If you look right there, youtube.com. Hey, Tamika. All right. Yeah. And anybody can comment on the YouTube channel, which is a cool space to be in. Sonny, do you remember the conversation? Do you remember what she said? Like the question, because I want to dive into it. Let me do this. You know what? I'm gonna do the subscriber only in a minute. Let me do this. Go back to settings, comment settings, and I'm gonna let everybody talk for a minute because I really want the conversation to be open. What is in your? I don't even know what that is, bro. I don't know what that is. All right, make sure y'all are liking and sharing on TikTok. So we had a conversation yesterday, man. The conversation yesterday was real deep. We were talking about, our lives over the last couple of years. What up, Connie? That's Connie Chung, right? We was having a conversation about the last couple of years, and we really dug into, health and wellness and some of the perspectives that have been pushed on us. What up, Priscilla Delizario? What up from Bella Horizonte? And it took us, into understanding that, we're doing more than talking about apple cider vinegar. What up, Griffiths? We're doing more than talking about apple cider vinegar, and that we're absolutely diving in. And I wanted to, we had a question and a concern. What up, Kareem? What up, Tush? We had a question and concern about, our thoughts on the transgender community. What up, year one? You're talking about women saying they were the father and the mother. Yeah, we went, but that wasn't where that came from, though, right? I can't remember who. I was hoping that she would come into the live so that she can reiterate that question. So my YouTube family who I see joining, man, we got a few people on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button when you do it. And if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now. What up, Sean? I see some people joining. Listen, make sure you guys get over to YouTube. It's a different perspective, different view. What up, Nikki, baby? So, in the last few years, right? I'm just gonna jump in here. You know what? we're gonna start the conversation at 9:30. 9:30, because I want to have had my drink. I want to have, if y'all haven't prepared y'all apple cider vinegar drink, go ahead and do that now. But we're gonna, I think we need to just kind of ease into this. You know what I'm saying? What up, TJ? Because it's a very PC conversation. What up, J&J? I appreciate that. J&J just subscribe. That's all I ask, man. Subscribe and go from there. Yeah, let me get your drink, Sonny. Stop playing games. Um, um, but it's a very serious conversation, and the reason why I'm directing people from Instagram and from TikTok over to YouTube today is because YouTube is a little more flexible on what they allow you to have a conversation about, and we're having a very serious conversation today about our, the community and how people look at transgenderism. You know, it's a hot topic, and the challenge is the conversation being held in a politically correct way. All right, TJ, we're gonna drink it in a minute. We're gonna drink it at 9:30, TJ, if you can wait. I don't know what your schedule looking like, but what up, Jamaica? So it's a hot topic to talk about anything sensual, sexual. When it talks about the LGBTQ community, and one of the people, where is it at? She asked about kids being raised in same-sex homes. Is that what we went with, Charlie? I don't know why I felt like somebody went there with the transgender comment as well. But okay, so we'll start there. She asked about kids being raised in same-sex homes. So that's where we at with it today, and that in itself is a hard conversation. It is and it isn't a hard conversation. It's just people have different perspectives and positions on it that have been, that have kind of adjusted themselves over the years. And so, excuse me, one of the things that I always talk to y'all about, whether it be about apple cider vinegar or anything else, I say, listen, man, people are preying on your short-term memory. People want you to, it's the like button. I'm not sure where it's at. If anybody can direct people on YouTube where the like button is at so that they can press the like button. It should be next to the subscription bell and something like that. What up, sweetest? But yeah, it's a difficult conversation, and most people don't know how to enter it because of having to be or wanting to be politically correct. They don't dive into the conversation. What up, Sil? People don't dive into the conversation and really look at it from a peripheral point of view. What up, Deech? I'm directing everyone over to my YouTube channel right now. It is posted right here where you can see it, youtube.com/ICGreen1. I just don't want my accounts banned or anything like that. What up, Selena? That's the reason why. I don't want to get banned on TikTok or on Instagram, and they are very trigger happy, as opposed to YouTube will let you have a conversation that is effective. But we're diving into that conversation after we have our apple cider vinegar drink in 8 minutes. But yeah, it's one of those things where the only person I've seen navigate the field, and of course, listen, I can tell you right now, everybody's not going to be thrilled. Everybody's not going to want to hear it. And in honesty and in truth and in facts, because of how we've allowed the society at hand to kind of adjust facts, like things that are factual, you can no longer find the correct way inside of in the dictionary for that matter. Dictionaries have now decided to change the meanings of some things. What up, May Jones Power? Things that for a fact have now been adjusted, tweaked, and changed. And a lot of it has happened with, who's in position and who has the power and the ability to do that. Yep. And so with that, my concern is, being mindful. Dave Chappelle is probably one of the greatest parishioners right now of towing the line, and really having a position. He has a position I think we should all kind of just pay attention to, and that's why let me just turn it off. I've been hearing that the music has been louder than my voice. I'm gonna understand that better. What up, Jennifer? But yeah, he's opened the door for the conversation to happen. Before that, think about it. Before Dave Chappelle started doing it, before Dave Chappelle started having the conversation, you couldn't have the conversation. Yeah, he is very direct, but he does it in a way where you can, there's one of the things I can appreciate about him is raising the topic first and foremost in a time and place where people are getting canceled, people are getting ridiculed, people are being shunned, and people don't want to have the conversation because there's a lot of honesty in the conversation if you've lived long enough to know. Is my voice low? How about now? Let me see. Okay, I see what it is. Let me do this. How about now? You guys give me an idea and let me know if the voice is really good on YouTube. Thank you guys for commenting. Okay, yeah, we should be good. I just raised the volume, so you guys should be good on. You should be good on YouTube volume wise. So he raised the conversations up, and he does it in a great way where he can balance the conversation and temper it to where a majority, and this is what you got to remember, the majority is where the conversation comes from, right? And we live in a society based on majorities. We live in a society that's based on the wholeness. A lot of us had to, a lot of people participated in, having to take the you know what I'm saying, take the concoction over the last 2 years, not because solely by themselves they wanted to take it, but they were a victim, I want to say victimized by the actions of the multitude. And if that's the name of the game, then you would ask yourself, why are things so different when there's a minority that is truly affecting the multitude? If y'all aren't paying attention to it, it's kind of crazy, right? We went through the past 2 years dealing with, with everything being crazy, and it was dictated by the minority. Like everything that went on in the last 2 years, y'all do understand that it was shifted to a point where the majority was moved in such a way that it affected the minority, or what they wanted you to believe, or what they purported to be the minority. Now, as most of you know, they would tell you today that more people participated in it than didn't. And I would say, I don't think that's true, right? I don't think more people, I think because of the fact that they tried to say you couldn't work without getting participating in the shot or whatever. I think that was what would lead people to believe that the numbers are disproportionate, like the numbers are crazy. But in my mind, I'm like, no, that can't be the case, because there's so many people who haven't. And the campaign doesn't get crazy unless people aren't participating. So if y'all remember, and I'm just diving back a little bit to help you understand how these levels work, right? When this whole thing started, they started immediately talking about deaths. And so they were pushing the number for the deaths. If y'all don't remember, and I forgot to discuss this the other day when we were diving in, but they talked about deaths, right? As a result of people, in 2020. And then by May, so let's say this here. Yep, all lies, TJ. Let's look at it like this. In March and April is when the news was going crazy on the numbers for deaths. Now, we do realize what was happening. They was really basing it off of New York. New York was the front lines, and they were saying that the front lines, this is what was happening, and they were trying to get you to believe that this was happening nationally, but it wasn't happening nationally. It was really just happening in New York, right? New York was where they were showing you semi trucks. New York was where they was showing you, all this, where they got to ship people off to these to the little islands or whatever, and burn the bodies and all that kind of stuff. All that was heavily a New York thing. And because New York is such a prominent place, because it's considered the capital, what up, Neuro? Because it's considered the capital of the nation, all eyes were on New York. You didn't hear that, nor did you see that on its counterpart, which was California. You didn't see that. So from March and April, and they started saying the numbers were ridiculous. But as we entered into summer, yep, that's exactly right. As we entered into summer, those numbers dropped like crazy. And so it went from talking about deaths. I know y'all remember this. They stopped talking about deaths. They started talking about cases. Do y'all remember that? I need y'all in my chat. When they stopped talking about deaths, they started talking about cases. And to TJ's point, no matter the illness that actually caused death, it was being all associated with what? The pandemic. Like no matter what was happening. So with that in mind, I'm like, this lets you know how they were trying to swing the majority into effect. So if we're talking about majority and minority, and in this situation, that's exactly what we're talking about, but it's reversed now. The minority, if you talk derogatively about the minority, which is the LGBTQ community, everybody knows this. It goes without saying. One of the most viral going, organized communities, but yet still a minority, is affecting the majority whenever they find reason to mobilize, whenever they find reason to come against somebody. And, you know, one would say that the sensitivity level has increased so dramatically that the conversation around it, we're dancing. And so this conversation today that we're having about, about same-sex parenting, this conversation derived from our conversation yesterday when we were explaining how some women will go around saying that they're the father and the mother, and we know that's not possible. And we don't correct them on. I mean, I can't say we. Women don't correct other women for saying that. Yeah. And it's today, TJ Norwood, it's the same thing. It's TJ said it was said that the best way to survive was to participate in the craziness. You know what I'm saying? Go pull up at a spot at Kroger's or Publix or whatever. You could go someplace. I've never been to a place like that and got a shot from somebody who I didn't want to get a shot from. But anyway, you get into a position where you want to say something and you can't say something. And I think that part was, and that part has always perplexed me, because I think that you should be able to have a dialogue. You should be able to have a conversation. You should be able to talk about the tough things. And that's how we get the breakthrough. That's how we get an understanding. And we weren't able to do that. Like, we still have a problem in this country with open and honesty. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what's up, Pause. I am on Clubhouse. It is a challenge for, and I don't know why. Why silence the conversation versus listening to the conversation to gain an understanding? And whenever that happens, when somebody turns off your microphone, so to speak, it always bothers me, because you're saying, what is it that you don't want to talk about? Or why are you, why is this conversation so challenging for you to have? It shouldn't be. It should be an easy conversation for us to discuss what's going on in our world on a regular basis. And it's okay if you don't agree with me. The reason why it's a problem is because disagreeing with people now has negative effects on your livelihood in whatever position that you hold. So it goes back to, you threaten people's pockets, and then you get a community of people who are quiet. We don't know what's going on because people are afraid to talk about it. And you're right, Deech. Most people aren't mature enough to have the conversation, and that's why you have to have people in place who know how to have that conversation. Though, you know what I'm saying? It's more of a figure of speech, but it's not possible to fill both roles the same way. That's right. Perspectives differ, experiences differ, and even biological traits differ. Absolutely, Silena. Between men and women, she says. They call you extra sensitive and tell you just let it go. Yep, because they don't want to have the conversation because they can't get into it. That was Selena and Deech over on YouTube. Even when I talk about the apple cider vinegar drink, which we're about to take in a second, I tell you, if you leave the honey out, you miss something. I tell you, if you leave the lemon out, you miss something. Like there's a property about it that you miss. Same thing with, apple cider vinegar. If you leave the apple cider vinegar out of the drink, then you lose some effectiveness. You lose something that you need that's in it. So when we talk about same-sex parenting, that's like me putting 2 lemons in the drink and no apple cider vinegar. You understand? There's something missing. No matter how much you think that you're a super person, whether you're a man or woman, you're not the duality that you have to have is not possible. You can't be both to one. I can be a father to my son. I can be a father to my daughter, but I can't be a mother to a son or a daughter. I can't do it. And no man, women, it's harder for, I think it's harder, it's more of a challenge for women because women are placed in the role of being of holding it down more than men. That's where it comes from, right? It comes from really being angry at the position that they're placed in, where men have run out on women. Men have left women to raise kids alone, and they feel like, in defiance of having to do that, they're gonna say, well, I am both because I'm doing both jobs. But it's not just the business of raising a kid that determines you being the father or the mother. You know what I'm saying? If you're a woman, you're the mother. If you're a man, you're the father. Now, whether you actually behave like one is something totally different. But you can't be the other. You can't do it. What up, Mary? It's impossible for a man to be, TJ says 2 moms or 2 dads does not make a balanced home for children. They need to see and participate in both. Yeah, and so when it comes to same-sex relationships, if we talk about it in the practical sense, you would assume, like most of us, and like we've seen now, remember, this ain't me coming up with this. What up, Letitia? This ain't me coming up with this. The community is what it is. Usually you see a very feminine woman, and then you see a very butch woman. And those are how they identify with the roles. But if you look at it, one is trying to be something that they've seen in what they're trying to become, right? So a woman is naturally being a woman. The polarities of masculine and feminine exist in all of us. True story, pause, but they aren't the same. You can't interpret, and this is the challenge. When you see that butch woman, she's trying to interpret what it means to be a man. She can't be a man, but she's trying to interpret it. And her actions and what they try to do, and here's the thing that you'll notice. Whenever you see the woman who's the man in the relationship, what does she do? She dresses like a man as much as she can. She dresses tomboyish. She dresses like, on the outside, she wants you to see a guy so that you will communicate and respect that. Yeah, we are, Ro. We going. Ro said you choosing violence this morning. I'm not really choosing violence. I'm choosing. I want to express some understanding, because there's a huge lack of understanding, and the LGBTQ community doesn't want to talk about it because the conversation is very black and white in most senses. You know what I'm saying? It's really a simple conversation, but we're talking about perspectives and mindsets. And as y'all know, that's one of the things that I like to communicate with a lot. You know what I mean? Sweeta says hormones have a lot to play in that. Well, it does, but think about this, Sweet. You have to take the hormones to be anything like the other. So if we talk about that, then we have to talk about being natural. So Deech says that's not how homosexuality works. Butch women aren't trying to be men. They just identify with their masculine energy, both of which we all have. Okay. And I'm not saying that that's how homosexuality works. I'm just saying the perspective of what globally, what we see when we see that. When we see that, and this is why we're talking about it. This is why this dialogue is important. Deech, when I see a girl, a woman who is dressing like a man and is presenting mannerisms like a man, that masculine energy that you called it, the masculine energy is more pronounced in them. So you say to yourself, the challenges at that point is you may have masculine energy, but you're not a man. And you purporting to look like a man. I mean, you can be a chick who looks and represents, that and not portray the outer part. So you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I think that's one of the things that we talk about when we think about transgenderism, and we think about this whole thing of homosexuality and whatnot, and those gender roles, is that people want you to see me as that, so maybe you'll respect me as that, even though biologically, and you know what I mean. Well, Deech says, yes, but you are interpreting what you see, not what's real or what is really happening. So most of us, and I'm speaking, when I say most, I say the majority, because that community is the minority. Most of us have always looked at things as they are, meaning this: if I'm driving a red car, you're going to say, that's a red car. He's driving a red car. If it's a sports car, you're going to say, he's driving a fast red car. When I see a woman who is masculine, I'll say, oh, she is, let me see, she is coming off very strong. And as you know, that's not received very well with a alpha male, with a strong man. A strong man does not want to be associated with a strong woman that way. You know what I'm saying? In a physical form, like where, you know what I'm saying, where it comes off like I'm in the mirror. We don't want to date ourselves that way. Chemical imbalance, to be exact, is what I read. Yeah, of course it would have to be scientific in most senses, sweet, but it's really a logic thing. You know what I'm saying? It's really more logical than it is scientific. Deech says some women are more comfortable in men's clothing, sneakers and whatnot. Butch women still want to be seen as what they are, women. I understand that, but I can tell you, Deech, in my experience, and I'm only speaking from my experience, and other people can chime in from theirs, but I've always, when I've seen quote unquote butch women, they tend to come off like dudes. And they want to present themselves in this strong manner where they like, I done seen chicks try to check dudes in the whole nine. I'm like, yo, no. What I'm saying to is, Deech, I'm not comparing people and cars. I'm comparing what you see. Let's keep it in perspective. I don't want you to ever think that emotionally and to people's sensibilities that I'm comparing cars and people. What I am comparing is the perspective. So let's not derail it, because I know that happens a lot in these conversations where people derail the conversation with the side piece, but it's really the dinner that I need you to consume. We are looking at people and judging people. We do it no matter what, with everything. And I really wanted to make a point that what you see is typically the perspective somebody wants you to have. Selena says, I think a portion of this boils down to feeling like the other. What I mean is gender rules that society puts on us. For me, growing up, I didn't feel like a girl, but not a boy either. I didn't fit the stereotype, but I started to feel more feminine later in high school. Yeah, I believe a lot of that has to do with community. A lot of that has to do with what you're seeing on, what you see. We talked about television the other day. Growing up, there was not a lot of spaces that showed homosexual lifestyle or and that's cool to disagree. Deech says she doesn't agree with the fact that the comment I made about what you see is what you believe. And it was in comparison to when I spoke about the car, and when you see a sports car, you say that's a sports car. You don't say that it's trying to be a sports car. It is what it is. So when you see someone who is offering themselves publicly to society, and they are the imagery that they're presenting, I have to accept what they show me. First off, I'll see a most times the facial features is still a woman. Most times it's still a woman. So I have to accept first that this is a woman. And then when I see how she's presenting herself, yep, I say, yo, she masculine is I don't know what. like she's coming off very strong like a guy. And that has become more pronounced. I'll tell you when I think it really became pronounced. It was when probably when MTV started going real hard in the paint. Let me read that. J&J says, I am a quote unquote more masculine female, and I have been out lesbian for most of my life. And I can tell you now that labels are not even where it's at. Yeah, and I mean, for the most part, you kind of, because we're in this separatism system where they want to label everything, it benefits the discourse that they want to have in our society. And she says, and people just are who they are, and when people don't understand it, they tend to put a label on it. That's right. Dee says, I can offer myself as a dog, but I'm still a woman. Yes, true story. Like, you are what you are, and I'm glad you brought that up. What's Sanquilla? I'm glad you brought that up with Olivia. In some cases, we are a product of our environment. You're absolutely right, Lisa. What you see and what you consume and what's around you kind of shapes you, right? And that's why I said TV has a lot to do with that, because TV is making it very, very, is presenting it more often. There's not a TV show that's on air right now that doesn't promote, the alternate lifestyles. I don't have a problem with it at all. But I do have to be mindful if of what it's communicating. Even when they started showing, I don't know, it's just so y'all understand how deep they go. They started showing on like Grey's Anatomy and all these other shows, everybody getting the shot. They were showing that. Like, there was a campaign on TV where every TV show was showing that. You know what I mean? And that was huge. Like, every TV show was showing that. So when we sit down and we have this discussion about two-parent households that are the same gender, you have to understand that there's something not going to be there. There's going to be some element that's missing. And that's just from a perspective standpoint. Men and women, we do not think alike. No matter how you dress and no matter what you do to your body, we don't think the same. Like, we're just not, that's not how God designed us. We're not designed to think the same. We're not even designed to physically do the same things. So when one is missing, when one is not present, then yeah, there's an imbalance there. And I think that what charges the atmosphere when speaking with the LGBTQ community is that we use, and maybe it's in the wording, right? Maybe the community, maybe the society in whole needs to change the way that we communicate about it, but we use words like imbalance. I mean, exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. TV promotes a lot, and MTV was at the forefront of it. And I can tell you when it started, because like I said, for most of us, if you don't have short-term memory loss, you can see everything progress. You know what I'm saying? When Pedro was on the very first, it was second or third year of The Real World, every season after that, they started showing a gay man on the show. Every season. There isn't a season where you don't see it. And then when they felt it was safe enough, they introduced lesbian couples on the show. And then, then after lesbianism was exploited, which MTV was doing a lot of the exploitation, when that was accepted, what did they do? They entered into let's show the transgender lifestyle. And from there, that's where it's at, right? And, part of it, you have to start asking yourself, what was this always there? And did we miss something? You know what I'm saying? In how our lives are in terms of these roles that are out here. Like most people when they were growing up, yep, Ren and Stimpy. It was a bunch of them. It was a bunch of shows. Like, growing up, because of the lack of communication, meaning the lack of, everybody didn't own a TV, everybody didn't have cell phones, everybody couldn't video stuff. There was a lack of access. So with the lack of access, you had less of it being purported, less of it happening. Letitia says, but when you consider how TV advertises it, some families don't want their kids prone to that. Anything sexual used to be hidden late. Yep, that's how it used to be. You're exactly right. Remember, you had to stay up late to watch HBO or Showtime, and then they started their programming at that point. I can go on there right now and I can watch a show that's going to show me a lesbian activity or a homosexual activity, or it's going to show me, the community that we didn't see growing up. If you remember, and again, it goes back to remembering things. Like if you have a short-term memory, this conversation fits the narrative that you may want to have. But if you have a long-term memory, you understand that before, when these things were happening, they were actually diagnosed as something that needed to be communicated with a therapist, because it was seen as unnatural. They had a Nick at Night for the older teens. They sure did. And at some point, somebody said, let's open the door up and let's just see what happens. And at the point of doing that, we're in a situation now where we're having the conversation about same-sex marriages as well as same-sex parenting. And it's almost like saying that the design of us was incorrect. It's almost like challenging what has gotten us all here. Let's talk about it. Same-sex parents, the child benefits when the child has no parent at all. I know to some degree people say some parent is better than any parent at all. J&J said, you have a valid point. Media manipulation touches every area of our lives, but how do you explain to people like me who have been this way since before they could walk? When you say be this way, J&J, you got to be a little bit more specific. But if you're saying, being homosexual or lesbian or whatnot, there may be some credence to what they said about a chemical imbalance, and that would lend itself to something being done, from your parents in the child rearing, the years before you were born, like before you even thought. You know what I'm saying? It could be how, if they took any amphetamines, if they were any medicines, that just same way that people suffer from autism when they take these medicines. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's an illness or a sickness or anything like that. What I am saying though is that the contribution to how you are may be bigger than it may be bigger than societal. There may be some promotion in it from either a drug that somebody had taken or some medicine that somebody was given or something like that. That could be a huge part of the situation. I know that they keep saying that it's a chemical thing, right? And if we say that, if we give it some merit, right? If we say, okay, something that my parents had done is what's affecting how I am now. Selena says there are definitely people born that way. However, there's also people that have been molested at a super young age. Oh, we can get into that. No, what I'm saying about lesbianism, Deech, is when they equate it to somebody being lesbian, so like he said, like J&J said, that's all she's ever known, that's all she's ever felt, then that would be attributed to something that happened prior to her. You know what I'm saying? That could be prior to, that has nothing to do with society. So what do you attribute it to if that's not if that's not how we're genetically made? You understand that what was done for us was we were put in a position and a place where, because I'm a man, I am the only one able to fertilize a woman's egg so that the existence of our species can continue. That's the design. That's the unique design that we have as people. If, in fact, we were all lesbian and we were all homosexual, our existence as a species would be challenged. we would not be able to exist or procreate. That wouldn't be able to happen. So I'm not saying no, I'm just logical. It doesn't have to do with any religion. It just has to do with logic. You know what I'm saying? If we take religion out of it, Deech, logically, you can't make a baby without me. Logically, that's just how it works. Now, of course, science has entered the business of creation. And if you don't think science is going too far, they can create a baby without either one of us. And that's how far science has gotten away from the natural part of life. Okay, here's my thing though. All of this is fine and good, but what does that have to do with an individual's ability to instill basic human values in a child? We're talking about balance. We never said, J&J, that you can't. You're absolutely probably, you're going to be a great parent. You're going to be a beautiful person. You know what I'm saying? You have values and things that you learned along the way, some that have shaped you positively. And then in this society, I can guarantee that if you're a lesbian in this society, that you've heard stuff that I, as a heterosexual male, have never heard. People communicate with you in a way that I have never been that I've never heard. And so you have developed a defense mechanism for that. You've developed a way of communicating with people with that, and a way of educating people with that. That being said, you are still missing an element to manhood. You know what I'm saying? To what a man brings to a situation. She says, Deech says, if you say your environment shapes your thinking, it is important. Are you Christian? What I'm saying is, your religion doesn't shape your environment unless you live in a Christian convent, unless you're a nun, unless you're somebody whose whole life is just dedicated to being in a Christian environment. And we know that's impossible. You have to work. You have to be around people who aren't Christian. You have to go eat places around people who aren't Christian. So that's not a societal thing. You know what I mean? That's not a societal thing. Although people who are people who are heavy into their church absolutely shape the way that some of those kids behave. They structure, their thinking and their communication and their rearage based on some of the Bible teachings that are out there. Yeah, it's not that the religion conversation is a loaded question when it comes into sexuality, because religion doesn't make you a man or a woman. You know what I mean? Religion doesn't have anything to do with that. But this is a logical conversation. When we talk about parenting, it should be simple, right? Because we're designed to procreate, everybody wants to have a conversation with, everybody wants to talk about who can do it and why. And so there are some people out there who says, I'm a person who doesn't even want to participate in the natural process of it. So I need you all to create a process that will allow me to feel the same way that people feel when they do it naturally. It depends on who you are. Again, Deech, I participate in these conversations based on logic. You know what I'm saying? Florida girl said, my son was born female at age 4. He said, Mommy, I'm a boy, while he was looking in the mirror. My son was born female at age 4. This is a, if we're talking labels, no, I know you're not. I know you're not, but it's not relevant, Deech, to the global conversation that we're having. That's not relevant in the sense of logic. You know what I'm saying? So Sonny, she said, my son was born female. And so those are the things, those conversations and the way we present it is challenging, Sonny, because your now labeled son, who is still a female, said he was a boy. You understand? Like, nothing about any processes, and this I know this hits hard for the transgender community. There is no way for a boy to become a girl, and there is no way for a girl to become a boy. It's impossible. Yeah, and that has a lot to do with it, Lady Love. Lady Love said, my daughter said she was a boy at age 4 as well. I corrected her for about 6 months. Now she's a girly girl. And that would be my position, I think, as well. If a child said to me that they were something that they weren't, I would say, no, you're not, you're this. And then I would double down on it, because somewhere there's a confusion there. Now, I want y'all to understand, like, if we're really talking about it, there's no way for a boy to be a girl, and there's no way for a girl to be a boy. Can we all agree with that? And you're absolutely right, TJ. One of the greatest things that we have to understand is, at age 4, my kid don't know jack shit. I'm sorry. My kid can't tell me nothing. He can't go out and say, the sky is red, mommy or daddy. You can't tell me that as a kid. I'm going to have to correct you and say, no, the sky is blue, baby. Yeah, and that's kind of, but with that, Sonny, you know, someone, let me see who just said that comment earlier, who said the 4-year-old as well. So Lady Love would be somebody that discussion would have been very great with, to help understand how that works. Tashi said she agreed in the science of the body, but the body isn't scientific. This is natural. There's nothing scientific about us. We are just what we are. Now, Silena said, yes, you can get certain things altered. That's about it. But even in the alteration, you're still not your counterpart. D says, how is it not relevant? Logically speaking, it weighs heavy on people's perspective. 90% of our culture is Christian, and some teachings are not logical. I digress. No, I get it. But again, I didn't talk about the whole community out there. I'm just talking about you and, you know, us in this conversation. I have not yet brought Christianity into the conversation, nor Islamic or Buddhism or Hinduism or any of that. I didn't bring any of that into this conversation. I think it's totally irrelevant. And I think it derails us from really talking about, you know, the real issue in the conversation. Exactly, Salina. That's why it doesn't matter. That's why we can't get into religion, because there's not one religion that does that. Agreed, naturally, what you are born is what you are, period. I told him at age 12, God don't make mistakes. He said, mommy was born to the wrong body. So listen, I want y'all to understand something. Listen to Sonny. She said, I told him at age 12, God doesn't make any mistakes. He said, mommy, I was born into the wrong body. That, to me, is a conversation that has to be taken out of your hands and given to somebody who understands how that works psychologically. Like, we as parents aren't equipped to have that conversation when the kid is being stubborn and doubling down. We can't do that. We're not prepared to do that, and we don't want to do it. You know what I mean? We try to be way too supportive. And maybe, again, Sonny, I don't know the situation completely, but it could be a timeline of events. You know, at 4, I think at 4 years old, it's hard to decide what to do for your kid because you love them and you want to support them. But here we are now, years down the road, and with society right now promoting, you know, these things. I don't know why people aren't clowning society. I don't know why people aren't clowning people who are saying, hey, go have a surgery to help you change what you think mentally. Selena said, God wouldn't make you born a certain way that he's supposed to condemn, just imperfection. But that's why I go back to say that in the process of rearing your child, some people, I'm not saying this about anybody in particular, I'm just saying some people are on certain medicines that affect how that imperfection happens. Some people are taking drugs that are affecting that imperfection. Some people don't have all the nutrition that they need that affects that imperfection, if we want to call it an imperfection. You know what I mean? My grandson is a boy, and his parents only instill boy things to him, and he's corrected whenever. Yeah, it's important that, like, we are raising these kids aren't raising us. I always tell parents that when I have to talk to parents. What do you do when your 30-year-old comes to you and tells you they are non-binary? You say, Cheryl, what is non-binary? You make them explain it and help them understand. you have to have them understand it, because now they're choosing conversation and they're changing words. No, Deech, I need you in the conversation. You make some good points. They keep expressing things and they're making up new words to help facilitate these imperfections, right? What the hell is non-binary? It's a confusion. It's saying I don't know what I am, and I choose not to think hard enough about it to express it. Letitia says, I really just feel like this whole... Oh, okay, never mind. Letitia said, I ain't finna say that. Okay. I know a few that changed mentally that have been more depressed. That's because... So, Tashi, again, we're talking about things that need clinical attendance. You know what I mean, Tashi? We're not equipped to deal with... There are people who have depression, just regularly have depression because of things. So yeah, I would assume when you take something away from a kid, when you take a toy away from a kid, what do? They cry. They feel some kind of way. They change their body and grieve the loss of what body part? You feel what I'm saying? I see where you're going, Tashi. Yeah, there's a remorse that happens that you can't recorrect that. Oh man. No, see? Sonny said he went to psychotherapist and the psychotherapist said, my son knows who he is age 15 and started him on testosterone. Sonny, where is the, if you don't mind me asking, where is the father in all of this? Has the father been present in your daughter's life from the beginning, and how was his position on all this? And I don't want to get too personal with anybody about this, but I think I would want to know, were you held responsible to be the guardian of your daughter more so than the father? Okay, I understand. Yeah. And that's a challenge, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot to unpack there, Sonny. In the sense of saying being supportive and understanding, that absence. And if we talk about it, which is what we're talking about, the two-parent household, why it makes a difference. Why it makes a difference, because you can't appreciate the sun if it doesn't rain. Letitia, your comment didn't get shown. I was trying to show it. It didn't get shown. I wanted to see it. Can you retype the comment before this one? You can't appreciate the sun for the rain. The reason why I be like, yo, things are different with people in California and in California and in let me block that dude right quick. The reason why I be like, people who live on islands are very different from people who live in multi-seasonal places is because they appreciate more. Like, people who only experience sunshine all the time don't appreciate that as much as I will, because when I go to a sunny place, I'm like, yo, I don't get this all the time. So when you don't have that balance, yeah. And yes and no, right? J and J just says this conversation can get even deeper, because what we're really addressing is a person's core, which actually has nothing to do with their physical body. But it does, because the same way we talk about apple cider vinegar drinking in our lives, we are affecting our insides that is going to also show what we project outwardly. And you don't respond to what's going on our inside. You respond to what you see. You respond to the outside. So it does matter. Like, it plays a huge role because we've been conditioned to use our eyes first, which may be, has to be the most correct way to do it, because that's why we have them, to see and interpret and consume information. Now, in that, an intelligent person will sit down and have a conversation and get to understand you better if they truly want to do that. If they truly want to get to know you and understand you better as a person, they won't just completely judge you based off of that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's unfair for any of us to look at somebody and feel like we know how they're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I think that you absolutely have to spend time with people to really understand who they are and what they represent and what they bring to the table. But our society is shallow in the sense of, and I don't even know if I want to use the word shallow, because I can tell you, like, I'm a look person first. I'm gonna see you first, and then we got to communicate from there. And if you're a good natured person, if you're good from the inside, if you're well, if you've been raised well, and can communicate well, then we can be friends. We can be cool. You know what I'm saying? But if you're a beautiful person with a nasty attitude, I run from you. I run. Okay, she said, okay, so with that being said, I am legally blind, and when I relate to a person, it's usually off a vibe that I get. It has nothing to do with their physical appearance. That is super dope, and that's ideally that will be the bigger connection that we all have. Honestly, if I had advice for somebody, J&J, I would tell you, hey, when you meet somebody, after you see them, close your eyes and start and continue the relationship. Close your eyes and see if you like how they communicate with you. See how you like what they vibe out with you. See how the energy is. Because a lot of us don't operate in a spiritual place, J&J. When I say spiritual place, I mean they don't operate from the frequency that we all have and we generate to one another. In fact, our desires, and you may be in a better position not seeing a person and just vibing and catching a vibe that lasts a lot longer than the metrics that most of us go by. We look at people and then give them the benefit of the doubt for their personality and the way that they are, versus looking at people, closing our eyes, and then listening for the consistency, listening for the frequency or finding the frequency that we want. That's why the best relationships start off, like for most people, are the relationships where they don't see each other often, where they are in a position where they communicate more via phone, not text. I'm sorry. Kevin Samuel said it best. The modern woman is plagued by a cell phone. Y'all are plagued by texting. Y'all need to get rid of any cell phone conversations or whatnot and pick up the phone and call somebody. Nobody's that busy that you can't do that. Yeah. So that Tashi, now let me tell you, Tashi on TikTok says we have to be better at discerning the vibe. That's everything. Charlie's on his way to the bathroom. I didn't drink my drink yet. I'm gonna drink it at 10:30. Tashi says we have to be better at discerning the vibe. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. You have to be open, willing, and ready, whatever later, to understand yourself enough to be available for that discerning vibe. There it is. Letitia said, the world is just a mess. These kids and some adults are walking around identifying as fucking animals. Yep. That's a psychological problem. True story. But kids say, parents say, go be all you could be. We adults provoke it because the kids are listening. The kids are absolutely listening and watching. And in the absence of the other gendered parent, in the absence of strong position players, meaning in a household that doesn't have a strong father, they should have strong uncles and strong family friends. Now, you got to be careful because there could be predators in each one of those situations for parents that have daughters and for parents that have sons. I understand that somebody mentioned it earlier that some of this trauma is brought on from relationships, not only with other people, but with family members. I know that those kids that have been molested, those kids who have been tried and all that, they lean more towards homosexuality. That's a proven thing. By the way, have you ever tried organic moringa powder? I've been drinking that for 5 years and have not gotten sick since. That's what's up. Knock on wood for you too. I haven't, but I might have to look it up. What up, Wiggs? Wiggs in the build. But that's one of the things that, yeah, Selena, I'm sorry to hear that too. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to talk about those traumas though. And there are traumas represented in so many different ways. I thought I saw your comment. Yeah, there are traumas that are brought onto us in so many different ways, and we just skim over it, and we don't talk about it, and we don't dive into it, and nobody spends the extra time that it's going to take. You got to say, listen, if a car runs perfectly, you're not going to mess with it. But if it has a flat tire, do something, you have to take out some time to deal with that flat tire. So in that, you got to remember, like when these situations are going awry, don't just do a quick fix. Understand, the first thing they do when they look at your tire, if you blow it, they say, let me see what happened. Oh, it's got a nail in it. This will be easy to fix. Oh, the tread is down too low. You're going to have to replace this altogether. Oh, this and that. You determine the problem and fix the problem. Nowadays, we determine the problem and say, whatever, and let it continue. We don't stop it in its tracks. What up, Peaches? We don't deal with it from the place and point that we got to mitigate it. It's not a child's fault. And in some cases, it's not a parent's fault because they lack the resources to do what needs to be done. Yeah, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you like time and effort and money in some situations. But nobody wants to address it or take that position. I do live streams on my channel and I would love to collab with you sometime. Definitely, man. I'm definitely open for collabs. Selena says, I also have a friend, he's gay, but he said that he doesn't even think he would have been, but he had an experience he shouldn't have had when he was a kid. Yep. Sexual trauma plays a huge role, man. Even in the, and we're just talking about it from a sexuality standpoint, but it does a lot for, it compromises even sexual predators. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are different conversations to have, you know what I'm saying? Like the makings and the creatives of those. But I can go as simple as telling you this. I've dated a lot of strippers. I've met a lot of strippers. I've been a confidant to a lot of strippers, female strippers. And a lot of them, and I'll tell you, when I say a lot, I would say 80%. I'm safe to say 80% of strippers have had a negative experience with either somebody that they dated or somebody in their life that's created this this position that they want to have as a stripper, which for them it's about control. There hasn't been a stripper I met that hasn't been stripping to gain back some power that they lost at some point in their life. We have to stop the mindset of what happens in your home, stay quiet. Absolutely. But it's hard. You can't say that to a child, Tasha, because the person who's committing the offense will tell them, you're going to get in more trouble if you repeat it. You're going to get in more trouble if you say something. And when we don't take that same moniker as far as knowing how impressionable children are, children will raise themselves. Jaleesa's doing all the heavy lifting. I see you, Teray. I jumping in there. I appreciate y'all, man, with the rose gold. Y'all got to remember, I tell, again, when I'm speaking to parents, when I see them with kids and stuff, I say, listen, two things are happening here. Either you're training them, either you're raising them, or they're raising you. Key said, I grew up with both parents and knew I was into women since elementary school and have dated men. So I am able to connect better with women, and women understand women and know their wants and needs. That's always been the argument, is that you had a companion that did that. But usually that's also a situation where you've dealt with the wrong men who couldn't support that. Now, I know you don't want to hear that, but a lot of times what you're missing in your counterpart has nothing to do with anybody but what you're looking for in your counterpart and having the patience to find them. You know what I mean? There are sensitive men out there. There are men who understand women. There are a lot of happily married people because men understand women. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Alita, we decided to start getting into some real conversations around here, you know what I'm saying? Some deeper. Not that our other conversations were really also the same as this in terms of mindset and motivation and inspiration. I'm hoping that somebody who hears this conversation can approach it differently when they're communicating with somebody who has a different belief than them. Because you do have to have the conversation, because understanding is everything. And unfortunately, some people don't want to be understood, and they can't even explain their position. Yeah, I mean, but it's global. When we talk about patience, everybody gotta have patience with one another. We gotta all be, we gotta give each other some grace. A lot of this isn't our fault. Yeah, Selena said, I have more guy friends than girls. The problem is I understand women and I don't want to live in high school forever. That's funny. Yeah, listen, the positions that we have in life were predestined for all of us. And the fact that some of us think differently doesn't make the position that you're supposed to hold any less of what you're supposed to hold. It just means that you got to figure it out. J&J said, okay, so I've been married to a man before who knew I was gay when we both entered the relationship. Okay, he's still typing. Okay, this is J&J. I don't know why I feel like this is gonna be real good, but I'm gonna wait and let you type all that out and then jump in. Like this is the challenges of life, right? Is that people we all have roles as men and women in this lifetime. We all have roles to play. Even when you go to your job, you have a position and a role to play. What if you told your boss, I don't, the difference is you can quit your job. You can't quit your responsibility, although people are trying. People try to negate their responsibility in this human experience that we all share. We're all traveling in the same direction. It's how you get there and how you travel. If you're comfortable, and I think that most of us have this position. If you're comfortable being homosexual, if you're comfortable wanting to, be transgender or whatnot, if you're comfortable in these things, we as a majority of the society aren't, that's not our position to feel one way or another about. The only time it makes a difference is when you want me to not think like the transgender thing. To me, I'll just be honest with y'all, I just have a hard time accepting it because who you are is bigger than your genitalia, right? We all have, genitalia is one thing, but I said Bruce Jenner is always going to be Bruce Jenner because Bruce Jenner is going to have Bruce Jenner legs, Bruce Jenner's heart, Bruce Jenner's mind, Bruce Jenner's ears, Bruce Jenner's hands, Bruce Jenner's knees. When you're able to take the elbows and put a lady elbow on a man, then we can talk. When you can take the brain out of a man's head and put it in a woman's head, then we can talk. And even then, there's a challenge to that because it's still a man's thing. I don't know if I do. I don't know. Not as of right now, Key. I can't say that I do. I can't say that I know any of I don't know anybody like that. I don't. And it's not by choice. I don't, I don't know any. It's a very hard process and try not to offend. True story. It's difficult. But I always say that, listen, if once you're able to replace all those other things, then cool. But Bruce Jenner is still going, I don't care how much of a woman he is, that's a man tongue. Tell me it ain't. I don't care how much Bruce Jenner want to be a woman, that roof part of his mouth, that's a man's. Yeah, I do now, Sonny said. Yep, her son, yep. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's my biggest issue. Is Bruce Jenner, no matter how much woman he is, them is men elbows and men eyeballs. I know y'all think I'm crazy. I hope y'all are laughing at me. Please be laughing at me. But I'm serious but stupid at the same time. Like, I'm serious, but this is, you know what I'm saying? And J&J, let me know when you're finished. I keep reading it. I'm just saying I'm logical. Like, I just think logical. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor, but it is what it is. Bruce Jenner, huge ass man feet, he'll never walk like a woman. I am sorry. All the swag he can learn and get, he is always going to have men fucking feet. Excuse my language. He's going to have men feet. Talking about he transgender. That's my only issue with that conversation. Yeah, we can't do that, Juan. We can't, we don't do that comparison of cars to women. I'm just saying, until they replace, I don't care what y'all talk about, Bruce Jenner has man eyes. If that's even a thing, he got man eyes. I can leave it there. I can drop the mic and walk up out of here. He's got man eyes. J&J says she can't type because I'm laughing so hard. Oh, man. I'm just saying. That's my challenge. That's what I'm saying, Selena. What are man eyes? Like, what is that? Like, y'all don't realize it. I got dude eyes. I can never switch my eyes from being dude eyes. I'm sorry. I can't. These elbows, I can't swap them out. It's always going to be men elbows. So when somebody says that to me, yeah, it's like you stunting to me. I don't get it. And excuse my naivety, but I'm sure a lot of y'all are gonna clip this on y'all gonna clip this on my, y'all can clip it. Listen, y'all can clip it on my YouTube. You can clip that section. But I wanna know. That's my biggest argument. Even with that, Toshi, I don't care when he waited. Guess what? He was the Wheaties man. He always gonna be the Wheaties man. But he always gonna have man hands. Even if you put fingernail polish on it, still man hands. I'm just saying. So when people are talking about this transition, I think that's where the word transgender comes from, is from the transitioning from one thing to another. It's impossible to negate that you're not. You know, he always said that he had a deep-seated fear that he was going to leave him for a woman, and I told him that I wouldn't as long as we took care of each other in our marriage. That's what's up. Listen, let me know, because I know J&J, I love where you're going. I love the conversation that you have right now, and I just want to make sure I say it in its fullness. And that was just a break from it. But man hands, there's no such thing as transgender, and I know y'all gonna hate me for that. Y'all can scream and I'll debate that with anybody. There is no such thing as transgender, other than the word and the conversation people want to have about it. That's it. Man hands, man feet, man elbows, man eyes. Next time somebody says that to you, say, who eyes you got? Did you swap your eyes out too? I want to know how you see now. You know, do you see differently now that you got woman eyes? Are you more sensitive to what you see? Now that you have these man eyes, are you stronger? Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying, like you are? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Long short story. Oh wow. Okay, so let's dive into this, y'all. I'm sorry. Let's get back to the business a little bit. So J&J started saying, presented a scenario of his life, and I thank you for your vulnerability and being open, J&J. That's super dope. She said, okay, so I've been married to a man before who knew I was gay when we both entered the relationship. So men will do dumb stuff like that, is thinking that they can handle a challenge that they're clearly not equipped for. We all have done it. We all have bit off more than we've chewed before. You know what I'm saying? We've all done that. We're not equipped. He doesn't even understand. He'd have to truly understand your lifestyle to even enter into it, to understand the challenges that you went through and what put you in this mindset and perspective, right? So let's continue. They have a daughter together, and when they initially hooked up, they agreed that she would temper her relationship with women that she's had in the past and give their marriage a fair shot. Continues, she said, he always said that he had a deep-seated fear, so he brought an insecurity into the relationship off rip. Now, men, I'm just going to be honest with you. You can't be insecure and date a beautiful woman. You can't be insecure and date a beautiful woman. Point blank, period. Beautiful people attract people. Beautiful people attract other people. Point blank, period. If you're not strong enough to be in a relationship with a fine chick or the dude that you think is attractive, no, I haven't yet, Charlie, I'm sorry. Then you are not be into it. Beautiful people attract people. Whether you have a beautiful personality, whether you look physically great on the outside, whatever the case may be, is you're going to attract other people. Who are you to hold that attraction hostage? You can't bring your fear and your insecurity into a relationship. And that's a red flag. Ladies, I'm going to tell y'all right now, any man that says, I'm afraid to lose you, run for the hills. That person has put themselves in a place where they need you, and they will do dumb stuff because they need you. Be with somebody who wants you. There's a lot of care, concern, and desire that goes into want that will negate and undermine a needy person. I don't want any of you to need me. I want y'all to want me. Don't need me. Needing me undermines my ability to do things for the love of why I did it in the first place. Now there's pressure. Now there's a outside, there's an outside commission on my life now that I have to do it. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, Melody. She said your perspective in this discussion today, it's been amazing. I'm just, I'm real logical. It's real easy with me. So let me get back to the story. I really hate the fact that, you know, at that point, J&J, the moment that he professed out loud. Now, these things I talk about all the time, right? I talk about if you're going to say something out loud, if you're ever going to introduce a problem or you're concerned in a relationship, then you got to be willing to do take the measurements that have to happen after that. If you're going to complain about spending time together and you got something to do with how we spend time, then you make the adjustment and we spend more time together, or you don't make the adjustment and you walk away from the situation. But you got to make a decision. You can't play both sides of the field. You can't be on both ends of it. You have to be a part of the change for the discrepancy you have that you have now put out into the public space, that you have now put out into the universe. You have to have some responsibility in adjusting it. If not, adjust it silently and get what you want out of the situation. That's me. I'm the person who, I ain't gonna say nothing out loud. I'm just gonna fix it. And that'll be one less problem. So I've been in situations where we all have our little pet peeves or whatever. You say, I told you was a fool. I'm sorry. That we've all been in little situations where there's something about the other person that doesn't gel with us 100%. You have a choice. You either pronounce it and then hope that a person who's been doing whatever they've been doing more consistently in their life will change. How often is that going to happen? It isn't. It won't change without provocation, meaning you have to put things in place that will open up the opportunity for them to start making the adjustments. You know what I'm saying? That's right. They're grown folks, Juan. You can't change anybody, but what you can do is change the parameters around that person for them to make the adjustment. Now, some of y'all might be dealing with some very stubborn people, and you may not feel like it's not worth the time or effort to set these new boundaries and these new positions so that they can do it. And it may be more of again, we're not therapists. Most of us aren't therapists that way, where we understand that if you shift a couple pieces, that the game board looks a lot different. And it takes time to position the things. It's chess, not checkers. And no, Juan, you can set the expectations at the beginning of the relationship. It doesn't mean that one of the hugest complaints that people have in relationships is, why don't you do what you did in the beginning? So that denotes that expectations in the beginning don't matter. It's the consistent. Ooh, if I use that word one more time this week, it's the consistency that matters more so than anything. People don't want grandiose changes. They want to change together, or they want to be a part of the change, but they don't need you to overhaul them. Okay, so let me go back up here. So at that point, I think you should have bailed, but y'all agreed to do it, and I told him that I wouldn't as long as we took care of each other in our marriage. So boom. Long story short, he started becoming physically violent, and I had to walk. Now, one would ask, where did the violence come from? Like, what was he saying was the trigger for his violence? Not that there's an excuse for it, but I would be curious to know if he just started flipping out, if work, if there was any external things, but there's no excuse for a man to ever put his hands on you. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm glad yeah. And then JJ said, I didn't leave initially when it happened because of something that was talked about earlier. I wanted to have her. That's yeah. And unfortunately, you know what? I understand you completely, J&J. That's a very hard thing to experience. And when I say that, I mean this. You're a person of your word. You're of good moral character, and you do and behave how you said you would do and behave. And the other person agrees to do it as well until they stop doing it. That is one of the most painful places and positions to be in, because we made an agreement and you defaulted on it. And you have every right to leave that relationship. It's hurtful because I think you understood how life needs balances. You know what I mean? Yeah. So from accepting her lifestyle to then becoming abusive, something internal, it's something wrong with him. And I'm glad you guys got away from it. That's true for a lot of people. Staying in a relationship for the sake of the kids, even when it's toxic, that's why I'm glad you left. Yeah, it is a thing, man. It's a hard place to be. And usually that is what it is, Toshi. Usually it's a controlling mechanism that makes most men flip out. most not, I ain't gonna say just men, but people in general who want to control, you have to learn how to temper that, right? Excuse me. Some people feel that they have to be in the driver's seat in order to travel wherever y'all trying to go. And when they're not, everything's in mayhem. And you have to be able to identify people who can ebb and flow with you and with life. There is no, one way of doing things, and there's no one level that it should be at. But you got to kind of, it's hard, y'all. Relationships are hard, whether it's two people of the same sex or not. It's just hard. Yeah. Deech says it's true for any relationship, casual, business, or otherwise. It's hard to leave, but you must protect yourself at all costs. Yeah, because you know what it's like having to train somebody. That's the real thing. And I'm using the word train, but you would say, man, do you know what I went through with this person? And experience is the connecting factor for us in our lives. The experiences that we have are what make us stay with the people that we stay with. Our daughter was 4 years old when I left, and I knew I would eventually have to have the conversation with her about why we weren't together any longer, but I always wondered if she'd be like me. Oh, of course. Of course. You were a staple in her life, so of course. And when you say be like you, you'd have to explain a little bit more. But if you mean like if she would mimic the you in terms of being a woman, yeah, if you're representing that, absolutely. In saying that, I think that people that flip-flop ends up hurting people that are straight, and that alone messes with people's mentality and is hurtful. I just pick one. I think there is something to be said about that, about stability. What up, Access? You know what I mean? I think there is something to be said about that. Astro Gastro Clinic, yeah. I'm about to drink my apple cider vinegar drink, bro. Some people prefer toxic relationships than no relationships. I mean, we are living in a society where there are more, at least in Atlanta, right? I live in Atlanta, Georgia. If y'all know anything about Atlanta, Georgia, we probably have the highest group of LGBTQ community for Black people. Some people have called it San Franlanta because San Francisco was synonymous with alternate lifestyles. Atlanta is that now, and very flamboyant, very, the gay parade the gay weekend out here is crazy. I've been I got green eyes. Y'all know it's hard out here for a heterosexual male. But what I'm saying is, the community out here is huge. And so, and so, yeah, when people, are not consistent. I mean, that's the word. I don't know why that word isn't like plastered everywhere in the world. It's the inconsistencies in our lives that create these problems. So here in Atlanta, there are more lonely people than, there are more women to men out here. There are more single women who say, well, I want to be with somebody, so I'll be with her. And the guys out here, I can be honest with y'all ladies, be careful out here. These dudes are dog. I mean, it's easy for these guys to get away with what they get away with. Like, I'll tell you, the single life out here is there are more women that want you than that don't. I don't know if y'all understand what that means. That means I can go out today. I can go to a club. I'm saying that when I go out, that I know, I'm going to go here with it. I know I got hooked up at Nordstrom's because the cashier was gay. I'm just saying. He didn't hit on me, but you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Oh, if that wasn't a Dave Chappelle moment. We'd be like, you know what I'm saying? It's about being true to who you love. It's about being true to who you are on the inside, which is ultimately why transgenders feel they have a right to change how they were born. I understand. Now, I love that statement, J&J. I think that is huge, right? But that's the conflict. All right, Deech, that's a conflict that that has to be addressed on the next level because it's difficult. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm not saying who you get it from or anything like that. I'm just telling you. I wasn't about being okay with it later. It was what it was. I didn't realize it until afterwards. I was like, oh man, I wonder if he did that. And then right, there's now a law where you can't say gay. Really? Where is that law at? Letitia said there's a law where you can't say gay. Wow, I didn't know that. I'm not up on gay vernacular. I didn't know that. I didn't know gay laws. I didn't know there were gay laws. That's a gay law. And now I'm gonna explode the room with this because I know y'all like some of this stuff. So there is a law where you can't say gay, but there isn't a law where you can't say nigga. Anyway, I think they might do something to me on these platforms because I said that. I hope I said it in such a way where they won't be, they won't bash me. I didn't use it toward anybody or at anybody. I used it in context of talking about what can and can't be said. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch and Twitter, and everybody who's listening. I was not using the word in a derogatory way. I'm just making a note. I'm just saying. Anyway, so we're live right now on multiple platforms. If you're not following me, follow me now. If you're not subscribed, subscribe to me now. Share the lives, share the rooms. If I've said anything that you thought was interesting, I know that somebody's gonna clip those clips on YouTube and it's gonna be hilarious. Arroyo says we all have both X and Y at a point of conception, and it gets to be a point where one dominates and determines. Yes and no. It's nurture versus nature is what the conversation is with that. It's just a world of contradiction. Absolutely. Tasha said, where's the lie? Grateful said, Juan said he'll be my lawyer. I may need it. They aren't ready for that law, I guess. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? And Selena, that's the challenge, is that conversation, there's such division that's being placed on us that we got to learn to get along and be together, or else they'll divide us all the way for the next 20 years and we'll never make any headway. Jan says, I conclude my story with this. At 18, my daughter admitted to me that she had an attraction for women, but now has a beautiful little girl because she ultimately chose man. But I let her choose. Absolutely. Listen, there's a thing, right? There's a thing, and that's I love that, J&J. I love that. I love your transparency today, and I love the story and the experiences that you've had, because they've benefited somebody, or they will benefit somebody in the future that watches this video and understands that those challenges. You are not alone, and that's what I think should be the message globally to all the communities, is that you're not alone. You're not going through this by yourself. But it's not to just rest in the fact that, what up, Savannah? We should not just rest in the fact that we're all traveling down this road together. We should also be looking at solutions and ways to progress in it and make life more comfortable for one another. And without these discussions, without having this moment where we can be serious, where we can be controversial, where we can have a discourse, where we can laugh, where we can share, it's impossible to get to that place where we can have the kind of breakthrough that changes not only our lives, but more importantly, the generation that's coming after us. That's who needs us the most. And if we don't articulate the conversation correctly, if we don't stand in the fold for those kids the way that we're supposed to, we're going to miss the opportunity to make those adjustments. We're going to miss the opportunity to communicate to our kids. What up, Chauncey? We're going to miss the opportunity to promote the value system that needs to be promoted in our kids. And people wonder why we're dealing with kids who want to be quote unquote binary, or they want to hold these positions of where they can't explain it. They just know they want to be it because the simple solution they don't want. That's another, we'd have to dive into that, because that's another thing. What gets me is the parents who disown a child because of the choice they make as far as that. Yeah, that's real selfish, you know what I'm saying? And that's from a lack of communication and expectation. I know people who have been, their family relationships have been compromised because of someone in their family who's had an alternate position. But it's also not just because of sexuality. Shoot, some people disown folks because they smoke crack. You know, instead of getting them the help or having the conversations to understand better. You know what I'm saying? I think in those situations, people hold on to old-fashioned values without holding on to old-fashioned values. When I say that, I mean this. We used to nurture people. We used to help. We used to figure it out. We spent the time and the effort. Some people spent a lifetime doing it, but we don't care anymore. The level of which we used to care at is non-existent. We don't care for people the way that we used to care for people. We used to really care about how you felt and what you were going through. And we sit down and say, what can we do, or what needs to be put in place to help navigate this for you? But we don't do that anymore. Selena said, this was a really great conversation. Such a sensitive topic like this tends to end badly. I know, right? It was handled with such care, love, and positivity, even without sugarcoating. I think it's important that we do that. Like, I am going to be who I am. I know, like I told y'all the other day, I said, y'all going to love me or y'all going to hate me by the end of this conversation. But hopefully y'all embrace me and don't get lost in the visceral approach most people take and how the world responds to it. Is this a lot of church and people judging instead of loving? Yep. Everyone is trying to get to the money. Yep. And get away from responsibility. Absolutely. Yep. We got to sit down and talk about things. Chocolate, that's exactly what has to happen. Selena said, I miss the days where not everything has to be a heated debate. What you said just now is the reason why people don't care about anything except their own view. Yeah, I don't do heated debates. Heated debates typically end with nobody hearing one another. And I want y'all to hear me, you know, and I want to hear you. I want to understand your perspective, and I want to talk about it in a way that makes sense. And I want to make sure that I have done the work to be able to, I'll just tell you, my life and what I've been through and what I've seen and done and the things that I've analytically, examined, allow me to have these conversations and be in a place where I can stand on my feet and I can say to you guys logically what my perspective is without threatening you or without feeling threatening by your response. J&J said, I appreciate you for letting me be open and the advice that you've given today. This was amazing. We are one race, one mankind. You're right. We need to take care of each other. Absolutely. That's it at the when it's all said and done, you want to say in this lifetime that you loved more than you hated, that you contributed more than you took away, that you gave more than you took. With that being said, I'm gonna pass the collection plate around. If y'all want to cash at me, if y'all want to oh wait, do I got it? Oh man, I'm sorry. I like to have fun. You know, I'm sorry. I be saying all kind of crazy stuff. But that just seemed like the right moment. I'm sorry. Letitia said, so how do you feel about Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle with their son, daughter? What is your opinion on that? I'm challenged by it because they're on a public platform, and I feel like the entities that are out there that want to push the narrative are supporting them in that. And so because they have support, they feel like it's okay to go through with exploiting their son like that. He will always be their son. He will always be a little boy. I mean, he'll always be a boy. I'm going to bless the collection plate. That was the best line of the whole conversation today. That's funny, Melody. I'm sending my donation my mother used to do in church. Not a collection plate. I thought we was bringing it in religion. I ain't bringing it over. Anyway, so look. Yeah. What's your if? What is that? What is an if? I don't know what that is. I think that I would not exploit my kids. You know what I mean? I would not do that. I just think that that's not cool, right? Because what if kids are so impressionable? What if you force your kid into this lifestyle because of your support, and now they can't take it back? They can't retract that. You know what I'm saying? You can't take that back. Like that's another thing where I would tell parents, man, do whatever you can up until 18 to discourage a decision being made that they can't take back. That's the most disheartening thing when I think about it. Removing something from a little boy who is not yet 18 is just crazy to me. I just don't understand that. What up, Marsha? Yeah. That's my only challenge. He's on the main stage and they're going to use that little kid to exploit. They're going to exploit the hell out of that kid. And he may feel pressure to make a decision that he can't change. Listen, I always tell my friends, right, especially in life with what we're going through and some of the things that we're challenged with, I say, don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. That was my conversation with people when it came to 2020 and 2021, when they were, 2021, when they were telling them, hey, you should get this procedure done. I said, don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. That's it. Tarika, Teray, I see y'all. Thank y'all so much for y'all Cash App. I appreciate that. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. Please make sure y'all put that in y'all vocabulary to communicate with your friends and family. Don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. For my parents out there who or for family out there who got thug relatives and all that kind of stuff that carry guns regularly, when you take a gun out, you're about to make a permanent decision for something that could truly be temporary. Y'all have to communicate that throughout your neighborhoods. Y'all need to put that on flyers. That needs to be put places where those people who are making these lifetime commitment conversations. You so funny, Redbone. Yeah, most people don't think about consequences before their actions. And then some people choose to say my actions are predicated on my emotions. And as we all know, emotions are temporary. Sometimes you feel happy for a moment. Sometimes you feel sad for a moment. Sometimes you feel certain ways, but it's temporary. Y'all need to instill in your kids, don't make a permanent decision for a temporary situation. I'm going to pay homage to one of my counselors. Every day at my school, and y'all should adopt this as well. Every day, every Friday, not every day, every Friday, she would get on the intercom, and her conversation was, and I carry this with me everywhere I go. She says, it only takes 1 second to get in trouble, but it could take your life or a lifetime to get out of it. I carry that with me everywhere I go. I think about that second. I'm always thinking about that second that could change my life negatively, because I don't want that second. You know what I mean? I don't want that moment. They used to call me Reverend Reynolds. That's funny, Grateful. Juan. I don't want that second. Paula, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I don't want that second. She said, that's all I have towards the building fund. That's hilarious. But that's listen, y'all gotta take that with y'all. She was a very wise woman. J&J, I appreciate you. She's a very wise woman, and I don't know if all my classmates listen to her. That was the thing I couldn't understand. It's like, yo, listen, everybody on this live right now, think about the 1 seconds. Like, each one of us got one. And there's not a one of you in here that doesn't have a 1 second where that you wish you could have rethought it. 1 second changed a situation. Whether it's 1 second where you said something that you shouldn't have said, where you did something that you shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was a sponge, Savannah. Like, Savannah, God has blessed me to be amongst very smart people way smarter than me. But he blessed me with the discernment to listen, consume, and regurgitate. That's what our lives are, is listening, consuming, and how we put it back out. It ain't even a quick decision. It's that second. Well, I guess it is that quick decision, Marsha. Now, yeah, it's that 1 second. You're absolutely right. I've learned that patience means more than than waiting on things. Patience absolutely means, you may be waiting, but you're examining. You're not really waiting if you're moving, mentally. If you're not waiting if you're making these processes real in your head. I always, one of the things that I think that saved me from a lot of trouble, but also has gained me a lot of ability, is playing it out in my head long before. What is this? What is it going to cost me? What is the cost of this decision I'm about to make? and realizing that that decision and the process and the outcome you only owe to yourself first and foremost. And if you care and love yourself, you're going to take the time out to make those better decisions, because you don't want it to affect you first and foremost, but most importantly, you don't want it to affect other people. Yeah, that's the reason why patience is a virtue, Salina. You're absolutely right. But it has to be, you know, I couple with that. I appreciate you, Keisha. I am going to get a smoothie with that too. I think there is a balance that has to happen between patience and, you know, knowing the difference between patience and procrastination. Some people get the two confused. Some people's patience turns into procrastinations, and you don't know when to pull the trigger. You don't know when to assert yourself. Yep, it does. It takes experience, Marsha. She said, trust me, you have to grow and mature to understand this fact you're stating. And listen, and you can't do it, though, without people in your life who are reaffirming that, Marsha. You know, yes, I had to grow into it, but without her saying those things to me, without those people who have lived longer than me expressing those things, yeah, you know, it takes you longer to learn those lessons, you know. But understanding the difference between patience and procrastination, and knowing when to shoot your shot, are huge in your development, whether it's at your job, whether it's just your personal development. It's knowing when to take those risks. I can't talk about it too much, but I took a risk last night. I was just like, in my mind, I was like, I'm going in, I'm doing it. And it paid off. And we don't do that enough. You know what I'm saying? Yep, we need that. And so that's why yesterday, Juan, when I was talking about how the pandemic affected our elderly, I was disgusted with it. When I was talking about Stephanie and her elderly person, her grandma, I was like, that's why you have to yield to them. We have to yield to those people who have lived and listened. And you got to get through to your kid. Don't let your kid raise you. Make sure you continuously raise your kid until they're about 25 or 30. And some people got to raise their kids past that point. Never stop raising your kids. You will always know more than them because you've lived life and experienced more than them. Don't let them tell you that they're smarter than you. Don't let them think because they're ahead on technology that they got you figured out. No, before technology, there was common sense. And you're going to get this common sense because you ain't got it. If I got to talk to you about common sense, that means you ain't got it yet. That's the part that scares parents the most, is that you're raising kids in a different environment than the one that you were raised in, but the value system should have never changed. Yeah. That's what's up, Teray. Yeah, we do. We do. And we can't. You realize when you care enough that you're never not doing. When you care about people enough, you can't let things off. You don't have any days off. So don't expect it. When raising a family, you have no days off. Yep. You never stop being a parent. That's a for life or job. I have a 23-year-old and she is still a child. Always will be. You know? That's cool. Teray, you know, you can go back and replay these on YouTube. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about why I had to make sure I integrated YouTube into these conversations, because YouTube will allow you guys. There are several things. We've talked so much that I know there are things that we glossed over, but there are some gems in there that once you heard them repeated, you'll be like, oh man, that was lit. I missed that the first time around. That's why it's important that, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm delighted that we get to record it and replay it. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I am absolutely going to post the journey from TikTok from 1,000 views when I was first able to go live all the way until now on YouTube. I'm just going to do it. Yeah. Yeah. So let me drink this. I didn't already push back the way my body going to work today. But cheers to everybody who got their apple cider vinegar on. And started off their day real healthy. I know a lot of you have already drank yours, so I'm gonna drink mine right now. And it does take a village, Marsha. And do you remember what I said yesterday? That we don't have villages anymore. We have communities. Communities is there's a difference between a village and a community. In a village, everybody has a responsibility. Everybody knows what their role is and everybody does it. In a community, people just get together. We just commune. We just hang out. You know what I'm saying? That's it. J&J said, I wish I had the opportunity to give my daughter some gems that I know she needs, but unfortunately she does not speak to me, which is another conversation for another day. Absolutely, J&J. And if you let me, I promise you I can get you back to a way where you guys are able to communicate and talk. And I don't care what it is that y'all have done. As long as y'all are alive, there's an opportunity to mend that relationship. And if we talk about, let me put this on here. Let me type this in here right quick. www. Let me see. Can I just do this? Yeah, SDC. There you go. On that site that I just put on my YouTube channel, yoursocialdigitalcurrency.com, there's a book button, a book now button where you can book a consultation where we sit down and we talk, and I can give you some ways to get to the breakthrough that you want. Those are the conversations I really delight in. Savannah and I had a great conversation, a one-on-one consultation via Zoom, and we were able to, to really just put some things in perspective. But a one-on-one approach gives you my undivided attention as well as a focused approach to whatever your specific situations or concerns are. I don't advertise the consulting as much. Most people don't invest in in counseling. Like most people don't, especially in the Black community. They figure the information that they should get should be free. And I'm like, I'm cool with that too. Whatever you can gain from me right now, while it costs you nothing, absolutely take it all. You know what I'm saying? But I can assure you that when you sit down with somebody who's just concentrating on you, who's not worried about anything else, and has that conversation, that you can get the breakthrough that you want to. And that's why you do that. That's why you implore outside support. You know what I'm saying? I see Savannah say, I pay for therapy like I pay for my light bill. Well, that's what I can tell that because you did that. You know what I mean? Sorry, I have several team meetings on Fridays. No, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? And Brandy right there, she said, I'm a therapist. Facts. Dr. B. People will spend more money on their food for the week than they will for the food for their soul, for their mind, for their well-being. And that's a choice. I mean, and as people who give people a space and place that's safe enough to have those conversations. What up, Contagious? We see that and we understand that. And you understand you can't save or help everybody. You got to help those people who want to help themselves. So that's what we do. Things are well, man. You missed out on a great conversation today. I'm about to drink my apple cider vinegar drink because if I don't, it's going to be like 1, 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And that's the one with the lime. What up, Ryan? Ryan, you missed a lot of this. For those of you who missed the conversation, you can go to youtube.com and watch it on the replays. Yep, then they complain about the price, but will overeat and pay for top-notch food. That's right. The only thing that I the only thing that I really hate, right? Yeah, I mean, I think it's excuse me. If that's the case, you have to find a way to get a breakthrough so where you both can converse, because it makes no sense for only one side of it to get counseling unless you're having a hard time dealing with the fact she's not speaking to you. But even in that, excuse me, you have to get to a point where there's communication so that she can have just as much of an opportunity of a breakthrough as you do. So you may want to start there. Say, hey, reach out to her, J&J. Say, hey, I miss you. I wish we could talk. I'd love to help us get to a better place, but I'm not qualified to do so alone. I want to offer an opportunity for us to share a group therapy conversation with the three of us. You and I can speak prior to and see if there's some things that we can't just mesh through on our own. But if not, I'd love for a second opportunity to introduce somebody to help us get to a better place. I love you and I need you in my life. She said, I've resigned to leaving her alone and I've reached out several times, even through my sister, and she would not communicate back with me. It's your daughter. Let's start there. J&J, it's your daughter. How's she going to tell you where you can and cannot be? Go to the house. Tell her you're not leaving until she talks to you. Go to the house. Meet her where she will be. These are the things that we gotta, that for the breakthrough that you want, you're gonna have to do some things you never did. If you have to be, for our children, we have to go the extra mile. You have to say, you're not gonna decide this for us. I am still your parent. Now, when I say that, you got to show her why you were qualified to be a parent in the first place. It's because you was crazy enough to do this thing called bear a child. No, your sister know where she lives. Somebody know where she lives. Hell, you want to find somebody, mail a letter or go to the post office. There's somebody who knows where she lives. Yeah, and it should be rooted. Make sure that J&J, make sure that as you move forward, that you are praying for what you want and pray in detail. Because you have the details, pray in detail about it. The prayer would go something like, Dear Lord and Heavenly Father, I pray that you will, I need your assistance in this matter right now. I need you to, for one, I want to say thank you for all that you've done for me and my family, for camping your angels out around my family as an army and keeping us healthy, wealthy, and wise. I come to you now asking for your assistance in this matter with my daughter. Unharden her heart to a place where she can understand that there's love waiting for her here in her mother. Let her, let whatever she's going through be released so that she may return to me, Lord, in such a way that our relationship moving forward is bountiful in every way. I pray that, and you'll say her name, you'll say what you might think it is. I appreciate that, Reinvented. What up? You have to say those things and be detailed. Use her full name. Talk about the experiences and that, you know what I mean? And let's not leave it up to the universe. Let's put it out in the universe regularly. I know I can tell y'all right now, my mother has a covenant over my life and has always had one. There has been a covenant over my life that has protected me from any and everything. And that's why you have to, even in the absence of you being there physically, J&J, your words travel, your vibe and your frequency. She gonna be like, I promise you, she gonna be like, I miss my mama. And she gonna be thinking about you because you're putting it out there. You know, listen, all of us get in a situation where our ears be burning. Man, I was just thinking about you. Man, you crossed my mind. What, I wonder what that's because somewhere out there, somebody's thinking about you. Somebody out there care about you. Somebody's out there speaking about you. I know my ears be burning all day and every day, and I can't tell you where it's coming from. I know God has blessed me with an opportunity to be in these positions where I can speak to people who speak to people about me. My hope and my want, even as a creator in music, was always to have my music and my words and what I felt be in places that I would probably never, ever physically be able to show up. I want to be in the mouths of those people who are saying great things. You know what I'm saying? She said she been using that technique, but she thinks she put earplugs in. That's funny. Listen, ain't no earplugs when it's coming from your spirit. There's been scientific studies done showing that a type of telepathy is possible when you're closely bonded with somebody. I believe that. Y'all know y'all get around certain people and they finish your words. That's bigger than just y'all knowing each other. That's one of those things, you know what I'm saying? That y'all are on the same page. Y'all know when y'all are in a relationship, when the frequency is popping, yo, somebody's doing something without even you asking them because you thought it. So I would tell you, J&J, just if you feel like she's able to put earplugs on, then you have to go harder. Yeah. We got to find out. I mean, we'll figure that out, J&J. Like, we'll figure it out. And if any of you all would like to sponsor J&J a consultation, feel free, to do that as well. And but again, I think J&J's situation in that consultation, it needs her daughter. Like for any of you who are going to therapy in a relationship, there's twofold to it, right? There's going to be a part where you go to therapy for yourself because it's hard just living. You know what I mean? The world is a difficult place, and some of the things that we've had to endure over the past few years is a lot. So you definitely need to have a conversation for yourself. But you also need a conversation with the people that you're relating to. If it's one-sided, then you'll change and they won't. You want them to hear the conversation. You want them to have that same opportunity to share so y'all can meet back in the middle. Most couples therapists will meet with one and the other separately and then bring them both together, because she'll then have the key and the omnipotence, to be able to pull it all together. You know? Yeah, Savannah said she was that daughter too. You're not alone. Like a lot of the women who have daughters go through strained relationships with their daughters, and we just got to really figure out why, you know? Yeah, you will. No, that breakthrough is coming. You know what I mean? But if you don't know what it is, then it is difficult to manifest it. So ask your sister to find out. Ask somebody to press her. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to know. Yeah. May our Lord bless and heal all involved in the situation, and may it be a speedy recovery. And that goes for everybody, right? Everybody needs covering in this room. So we'll just say, God bless everybody who's on this live, and we pray that you're healed, whether it's mentally, physically, or financially, and that whatever you need spiritually, you're met with. But yeah, all these things can be taken care of. We got to be bold. Like the responsibility for the breakthrough that we want is on us. It's always been on us. For whatever we want to have happen, your consistency will yield results, J&J. Let me just tell you, my favorite word is consistency. Consistency is such a breakthrough word because it's a revelation word. Consistency reveals things. If you're consistent and you're horrible at something, it will reveal that you're horrible at something and you need to change. If you're consistent and you're good at something, it will promote that and you'll be exalted because of that consistency at doing something at a next level. Ergo, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tiger Woods, Serena Venus, John McEnroe, Pete Sampras, blah, 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 blah. I can go down the list. Is J&J the type to come to? Can she actually hold a conversation with her? That's, Marsha, that's going to be a whole nother thing. Like, we have to dive into all that later, but she, just in her communication on the live right now, I believe she's more than capable. I think it's just a matter of, people letting go of egos and letting go of pride to get to it. Words from live into it. Yeah, great conversation. That's what's up. Words form live into existence. Yeah. She said, you've inspired me to go live, but I'll wait until you're finished. You are more than welcome to come comment. That's what's up. All right, so let me wrap up. It's 11:11, and I know some of y'all are numbers people and all that, and y'all get excited about those numbers. We've been on since, oh shoot, have we been on? No, I got on at 9. I thought we was on at 8. Sheesh. Marsha's advice says, yeah, Savannah, Marsha said, we're gonna get this story straight. That's what, if we don't do nothing else today, we gonna get this story straight. Marsha says, give yourself some grace, J&J. We all make mistakes. Be that listening ear. Keep trying. I'm a mother of 5 daughters. Trust me, I know. And that's one of the things, what I want y'all to know, y'all have community here. On TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, y'all, there is community. And I know you have a community on YouTube as well, J&J. And I don't want to keep you from that. I'm actually will join in and hang out for a little bit. It's 8:11 in California. Well, what I'm gonna do with that? What I'm gonna do with that? Anyway, I appreciate everybody for showing up, man. I'm trying to think who had the other conversation that we're supposed to do. We got one more conversation that somebody brought up the other day that I was like, wow, I might have wrote it down. No, I couldn't write it down. I thought I put it in something, but that's why I need to live in Cali. Or Savannah, you see, that's why. Savannah, you're in I forget where you're at, South Carolina or somewhere in Georgia. Anyway, yeah, keep us posted, J&J. I'm on every day, J&J, Monday through Fridays, and then Monday through Fridays usually in the AM, like 8 to 10. Yeah, that's right, Tennessee. And then in the evenings, I just pop on. That's why it's necessary for people to follow and turn on notifications. Those are free social digital currency spins that you all should have. Those are free. Those are easy. That way you stay in tune, you know what I'm saying? And you get an opportunity to converse and hear another perspective that you may not have heard before. With that in mind, J&J, if you're not following her on YouTube, she has a live that she's about to present and have some dialogue and conversations with. Let me see. Let me do this. Let me see. Can I do that? Can I do that? Okay, yep. And I am subscribed to J&J. It's called is it the Family Channel? Is that what you're doing? What's the name of today's live that you're going to do so I can tell everybody? She says, I'll be there, and anyone wanting to offer advice is welcome to join the stream. So it's when I typed it in, it's J&J, like J, the symbol, and another J, video reacts. So she's going live, J&J video reacts. And I just subscribed, so I'm one of your new subscribers. If you're not subscribed to me, subscribe to me now. Lola Bunny, where you been, man? Where you been? So you got to watch it on the replays now, y'all. If you're just getting here now, you have to watch it on the replays. Yeah, it's called J&J, J-A-Y and J-A-Y. I'm following her, so if you look on my, if you go to my page or whatever, you may be able to find her. And J&J, if you can't, go to one of my videos, like my latest video, and respond to something. That way they could just click on your link and go to it. Excuse me. Oh, okay, just woke up. Mommy of Sweetness was important. Yep. What I missed. I mean, you didn't miss anything, Lola. You can watch it on YouTube. But we had that discussion about same-sex parenting, and it got really great. Like, it was very informative. I think we managed to really break ground on, a very significant part of our lives nowadays. So that's what's up. Yeah, Marsha's totally invested. Marsha, make sure you join her live on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, with that being said, man, I appreciate y'all as always. We'll be back here tomorrow at I don't know what time. Last night we were supposed to do a relationship conversation, so I may sneak back in on Saturday or something. I'm traveling next week, Thursday, but up until then we'll have our conversation, and we'll be pretty consistent. Next week it'll probably be at like 9:00 on a consistent basis next week up until my travel date, till Thursday, and then Friday I'll be out of town. So yeah, it was a good conversation, Lola. I'm happy with what we did here today. We approached it with care and concern, and I believe that we were able to communicate the great, positive, motivational, and inspirational vibes as always. I drank my drink. Hopefully y'all have drank y'all drink. I'll catch y'all a little bit later. Make sure y'all stay tuned by subscribing. I want to thank, let me do this before I, damn it, can I do it that way? Let me see. Yeah, I might have to use my computer to do it. Let me see if I can do this. So let me thank Lakeisha. Excuse me, Lakeisha, J&J, Paula, Teray, and Terica, who all supported by going above and beyond and cash apping me today. I think that was super special. You guys are always showing up. I want to also give a huge shout out to Jaleesa. Jaleesa did like some crazy heavy lifting today. If you aren't subscribed on my TikTok, go ahead and subscribe now. Likewise on my YouTube, if you want to go above on my YouTube, you can become a member, which is an option of yours now. Marsha said, love your lives. Yeah, man, I've been, it's been, she said, love your lives on all levels. Thanks for being motivational as always. I have a good time doing this. I have a good time conversing with y'all on a regular basis. And, I feel like what's cool about it is we never stop learning. And I say we because I always learn something too. I think today I learned a perspective thanks to Deech and J&J and our LGBTQ community out there, Keys, and a few others. I learned some things and some perspectives and how to communicate and how to respect and how to be sensitive to their needs and their lives and what they're dealing with, and Sonny as well, to what they're the challenges that they're facing in life, and the breakthroughs, and the what their accomplishments or what they want to accomplish in life. So it's been really cool learning, and this happens on a daily basis. I don't express I don't get out of these lives without taking something with me. Yeah, all of the champions that showed up, you guys are always you're like the foundation of it all. And as we as more people become our scraps champions and whatnot, our community will grow. We'll have an opportunity to spread the motivation and inspiration and love bigger. You know what I'm saying? So Sweetest said, you need to be on the radio. Your voice sounds great for that, and you're multitask like no other. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Sweetest. I actually got a LinkedIn message that a job, they want a on-air personality for a radio, I think it's a radio station out here, and they were like, one of the requirements was that they were knowledgeable in R&B music. Woo! I was like, oh really, is that what y'all need? That's it? That's the requirement? Okay. Marsha said, every chance I get, I'm on here. I'm at work watching, but it's worth the knowledge. That's what's up. Yeah, I'm trying to, I wish there was a sweet spot time-wise that everybody could be, we could be committed to, that would benefit more people. But I realize that now, in inserting the ability for YouTube to post the videos, that everybody has an opportunity to experience the conversation in replays until they have the opportunity to hang out with us live. So I feel comforted by that. As you guys watch it back there, his vibe reminds me of Doug Banks and Tom Joyner. Those are really huge names in the business. That would be really cool to be synonymous with those guys. But yeah, they're the opportunity to watch those replays, I think is super awesome. True story. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's what I hope will happen, right? Take job and flip it your way. I will. I think that that's one of the things that they will be relying on, Lola, is that I just be consistent. And as you guys can see, we're about 40 days in of that consistency being here with you guys live. I haven't missed a day. No one can tell you that I haven't gone live every day since I've had the ability to go live. So I'm hanging on to that. I'm going to keep trying to push that. Whether I just jump on for 15 to 20 minutes, I will get on every day live to participate with the conversation with you guys, to at least give you an inspirational vitamin, a motivational moment, something that you can take with you throughout the day so that you can feel better, be better, and know something that you didn't know before. With that in mind, man, and I got to think about it. I haven't Lola, I haven't done a resume in so long that it makes me nervous to do it. I've been in the music business so long, you know what I'm saying? What up, Wahida? I've done that so long that I can't, you know what I'm saying? Oh, the YouTube is IC Green 1. So it's the number, the letter I, the letter C, and then the word green, and the numeric 1. Yeah, I don't have assistant, Savannah. I'll make that bigger too, because I just thought about that as well. She was like, you could barely see it. I was trying to be all creative and stuff with that. I'm gonna have to use Canva better. Imani Tika. Man, it take a moment sometimes. Imani Tika says she got me. That's what's up. Yeah. I did that once, and I have a fear with like a virtual assistant. I think now moving forward, I would want an assistant that lived in Atlanta. I did that, and having a virtual assistant, they did some crazy stuff and kind of undermined a really great team of people that I had developed. So you know what I'm saying? I'm leery of that a little bit. I have to be very mindful of who I place myself, whose hands I place myself in. So, yeah, I know, right? No, I've been managing it. I've been pretty good with managing it this far, but I do see like, for the future of what I want to do, I'm going to have to really groom someone, who can be, effective in that position. Yeah, I know, right? I think I have a couple versions of this that I think would do it. You're right. I'm gonna be like, I don't have a resume, but what I do have is the fact that I've been consistent. I've been consistent on my lives. Yeah, I just took it to Imani about 20 minutes ago at about 11. Yeah. So anyway, man, look, if I'm going to ever get out of here, because it's hard to leave y'all, I'm just gonna say today was amazing. I appreciate y'all in such a major way. This is not goodbye as much as it is to be continued. Let me see something. Let me make sure I miss no comments over here. Yep, Charlie said great weekend. Selena said have a great weekend, everyone. Praying you mend things with your daughter and looking forward to positive updates. And Letitia said, are you canceling the morning shows while you're traveling? I'm gonna try not to. I think I can manage it. It's gonna be early though or late because I'm gonna be in that's what's up, Patrick. I'm gonna be in Vegas, Letitia. So I'm gonna be 3 hours earlier. I know, right? It would be Savannah. I'm telling you. Imani's drinking hers now. Cheers. Go ahead and get it in. No, Letitia, I wouldn't cancel the morning shows. As much as possible, I'm going to try to stay true to the. When is your birthday, Imani? Am I have to sing happy birthday again? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Imani. Man, she said this month. I ain't got to sing right now. You let me know the day, and I'm singing on the day. What time do you come on? We're going to need you to dedicate time. The range of time is like 8 to 10. Like between 8 and 10, I'm on. The challenge is some nights I have to, I do my job, which is, I'm in the studio super late to like 3 or 4, man. And then to turn around and be right back up at 8, you know what I'm saying? It's such a hard thing. And then to, I incorporate the gym in every day. So I'll be at the gym in the next 30. No, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom and then I'm gonna eat and then I'm gonna go. She said Comcast times. That's funny. But I got a back workout I want to get in today and bicep. Like I felt so good last week working out. Your birthday's on the 20th. That's what's up. My birthday's on the 20th too, 20th of May. But I felt so good with my workout that I'm excited about hitting the gym and getting these guns. Like I got to be mindful of that though, because I wear clothes that kind of fit me really nicely. So when I be making adjustments, especially to my arms, man, if y'all saw some of the shirts, that would normally fit looser around my biceps, it's crazy. I do dumbbell raises. I do power lifts. I do pulls, shoulders. I do for instance, when I go in, I'm gonna take the barbells, the dumbbell, the barbell off of the deadlift is what it is. Deadlift first, and then I do yeah, I know I will, Marsha. I do my a lay back curl. Then I go back and do a seated row, and then I come back and do a, I don't know what they call this curl, but the curl where you pick it up and go like that. I do that curl. Then I do lat pull downs. Then I do a seated barbell curls inside, and then I do it outside as well. So it helps create this little W that's in my arm right here, and that's when my biceps be huge, boy. But I also started doing the seated pull in 3 different ways. So you can do it overhand, side hand, and underhand. So I did that. She said you like Ice Cube but more handsome. That's funny. No, why did some guy, an older guy yesterday, stop me and told me I look like Michael Jai White? That's the one I've been getting more. I get Michael Jai White almost all the time. People say you look like Spawn. Anyway, see how it's hard to leave. Letitia said, thank you for always chopping it up with us. Much love to all the champions. If you guys want to be a champion, no, I did leg day Wednesday. Wednesdays and Saturdays is leg day. Yesterday, I couldn't even, I did leg day so hard, I went and got a massage afterwards because I knew I was going to have challenges walking. But if you want to be one of Scrap's champions, let me see up here. We got 32 subscribers. We want to hit that 50 mark, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a daily process. But if you haven't, hit that button up next to my face that says subscribe, become a subscriber, and be one of Scraps champions. You get that really dope gold bar next to your name. And then you also get the ability to use emojis that I took a photo shoot for. So what I may do also, when I take my hair out I'm going to get my hair done next Wednesday. Before I take out, I work out 6 days a week. You know what I'm saying? 6 days. When I can, at the least it's 3 days. But when I take my hair out, I'm going to do a photo shoot then, so you have some different emojis to pick from that are like wild and out type deals, whatever. But I'm also going to start, like I really told myself I want to do more, just give you guys more content that you can take with you. So for my subscribers, I'm going to do some subscription only photo shoots, meaning there'll be photos that I send to you guys that only you guys have. So make sure you're following me like on Instagram and YouTube or someplace where we can communicate more directly if you're one of my champions, and I can send you some of these things. I just want to go above and beyond what the subscription process should mean and how you should feel being a subscriber. For my guys, for the fellas out there, I'll figure out something out there for you too. I might have to hire a model or whatever and have them model some shirts of mine, my I Am the Show shirts, as a way of, giving you guys some eye candy while promoting as well. So about an hour and a half to 2 hours, Key, consistently for an hour, because I really don't take breaks and I don't have a lot of conversations with people when I'm at the gym. And I told them that I joined another gym. I joined Crunch, as it's closer to my house than Lifetime Fitness. And for one payment of my Lifetime Fitness, how much I pay for a monthly for Lifetime is the whole year at Crunch. So the math wasn't math. And when they told me that, I was like, well, look, let me get rid of that. I was like, let me end my relationship with Lifetime, because I'm not out there swimming and playing basketball like that, which is the huge benefits of Lifetime. I said, let me go over here to Crunch, where they have more equipment. But even in the other day that I went, I just realized that a pet peeve of mine, which has always been a pet peeve of mine, is people who sit on equipment. Like they'll do their reps and they'll just sit there like they own the equipment. And I'd be like, what about me? I want to use it. Can you get up and just let me jump in without me having to ask? I'm that person that considers people when I work out, meaning I'll do my reps, I'll get up, and then maybe I'll stand near it or by it or whatever, but I'll let people, they be on their phone, texting, all that kind of stuff. I'll be like, yo, why don't you get up and do that? You got 100 people in this gym and you don't have 100 pieces of the same equipment. So we got to share a little bit. What up, Trail? We got to share. So I be sitting there like, that's one of my greatest pet peeves, is like, why are you sitting on the equipment in the gym? Get up, go, stand next to it or something. So the other day, I actually talked to one of the trainers. The first day I was there, I talked to one of the trainers. Some dude got off of the leg extension and went to talk to him. And I looked at him and I was like, he left his drink and something else at the seat as if to be claiming the machine as his own. So I let them talk for just a brief second. Then I hit my man up. I was like, hey, yo, are you good here? He's like, I got one more set. In my mind, I'm like, fuck, what are you waiting on? You know what I'm saying? So I get there's a 60-second, what up, Trail? I know there's you need 60 seconds to 2 minutes of rest in between reps. And I'm like, that's when you let somebody else get in. But he didn't. So they kept talking for a little bit or whatever. And then when they got done, the trainer looked at me, he walked by, he was like, you good? I was like, yeah, but I kind of hate that. You know what I'm saying? I said, y'all gonna have a problem because there are certain machines that you only have one of. And if people are taking the leisure of sitting at the equipment after they're finished using it to take their 2 to 3 minute break or longer, that's a problem to me. I told him, I said, y'all need to put up signs that say, when you are not actively using the equipment, please be considerate of the other people who may want to use it. I'm going to do that. Listen, y'all going to see it on y'all TikTok line today, so be prepared to share it. I'm going to do it, and on Instagram, be prepared to share it, and YouTube, y'all be prepared to share it too. I'm going to put out there, I'm like, my biggest pet peeve with you gym people is that You sit on the equipment after you've done the workout like you own it. Most of these gyms only have 1 to 2 or 3 pieces of the same equipment with 100 people trying to use it, and you are taking up time and space. Get your ass out the seat, at least for the minutes that you're letting your body recover, so that somebody else can get into a state where they need their body to recover and they can get up and do it too. Know what I'm talking about? Sonny, you did. If you're talking about missing this live, remember you can go and watch it on YouTube and rewind. You know what I'm saying? And you can show it to your son, and hopefully, he can gain some new respect for the opinions and positions that some other people have, and give him grace as he. It's such a hard conversation, but as they go on their journey, you know what I mean? I think it's important that at least they see the dialogue, and you know what I'm saying? And one day, like, should any of us meet in person, at least y'all know I'm the same in person as I am online. It's too much work trying to do and be some other thing. Like, if I had a message for everybody, be yourself at all times in all ways. It's your boy Scrap. I'm signing out. I've had an amazing time with y'all. I'm sorry that Instagram doesn't give a really clear and dope notification. That's funny, Imani. It takes whatever time it takes, but make sure you do it all in one group so it can actively work. But yeah, that's the message for today is, be who you are all the time in all ways, and you'll never fail those people who get to know and love you for who you are. This is Scrap. I'll catch y'all later. This is not goodbye, but to be continued. All right, y'all.